What is a WEC Prologue? Well, in this video I'm going to talk you through what to expect over the course of this coming weekend. And in addition to that, I'm going to tell you what to look out for, because it's the start of a new season of the World Endurance Championship, which means new teams, new lineups, and new cars. So the WEC Prologue is essentially a F1 preseason testing. It's the way that the teams will shake down their new cars on the track used for the first round of the season this time around with the Qatar 1812 kilometers. And it means that some cars, where they're having upgrades, so the AF Course Ferrari has gone through a few different upgrades over the off-season, they'll be able to make sure that those things are working nicely. At the same time, teams that have changed their car, looking at Cadillac Hearts Team Jota, who were a privateer Porsche entry and now are the Works Cadillac entry, they'll be making sure that all systems are running fine. I mean, they've done plenty of shakedowns already for it, but this is the first time they'll be getting it at close to racing conditions for their two cars, and they'll be able to have a look at what is good about their new lineups this time around. And then we do actually have brand new cars as well. The two Aston Martin Valkyries, which are going to be V12 powered, a 6.5 litre V12 nonetheless. They don't have hybrid. So it'll be interesting to see how the 007 and 009 will be getting on over the course of these couple of days. Expect that the cars that have been around for a while will be generally quite reliable. The ones to keep an eye out on are Peugeot with the 9X8, which is still undergoing some changes and transformations. The Alpine, which struggled with some bits of reliability last year. And then, arguably the newest kid on the block in the Aston Martin when we're looking at the hypercars, because even though Haas Team Jota have taken over the Cadillac program instead of running the Porsche 963s that they previously have, the Caddy isn't a new car. And we know how well it can do over in IMSA. We've seen it doing all right in WEC. But, just keep an eye out for that. In the LMGT3, at the same time, look out for what's going on with Mercedes. Because it's new to have Mercedes in the WEC LMGT3. The AOG GT3 Evo is not a new car. I believe it's still the same evolution that first came onto the market in 2020. So it's not the oldest. It's not the Lexus RCF GT3. But it's not exactly new either. Expect to see it taking a while to get up to speed because they need to get used to how the car is going to be running in these conditions. At the same time, BMW have brought an Evo version of the M4 GT3 to the 2025 WEC season. It's been doing all right in the Intercontinental GT Challenge and in IMSA, but again, things like balance of performance will come into play. And here's a quick explainer about BOP to those who aren't particularly familiar with the World Endurance Championship or balance of performance from other series, because not everybody is going to be coming into this having been familiar with everything that is going on. Balance of performance is a way to sort of limit a technological war between the different teams, to limit a development war. What it means is if a car is getting too quick, it will pick up some ballast, so it will be slightly heavier, or they might take some power out of the engine by requiring that they have a different kind of restrictor plate on the engine. Or they could say, okay, your fuel tank is going to have slightly less capacity, or the virtual energy, which is something that is calculated based off of pace, performance, and a myriad of different factors. I don't know the full ins and outs of it, so I don't know many people who do. They could just adjust that as well, so that your stint is slightly shorter before you have to pit. It's a way of keeping things lively, and it should mean that, for example, the Aston Martin, whilst they may struggle at first, because new cars tend to struggle at first, look at the Peugeot 9X8 in both of its variants, the wingless and the winged version, or look at the Alpine as another example. I reckon that the Aston will probably struggle a little bit at first. It'll take a couple of rounds for it to be in a good place in terms of bop. Likewise, the same for the Mercedes, because the current GT3 pack should be well balanced off of each other. Obviously, a new BMW could cause issues, but you have a year's worth of data on all the tracks for all of the other cars. So it should be pretty plug and play. As for things to watch, I would say that, yeah, the Mercedes with Iron Lynx, who have previously run all sorts of different machinery. I think they've come across from Lamborghini for this one, haven't they? Because the Lamborghini program has stalled out and is not in WEC this season. So yeah, expect to see them take a while to get themselves up to speed, but potentially performing quite well towards the end of the test. Likewise, I would expect a similar thing for Aston Martin. Like, the Heart of Racing have been great before, and they probably will be great this season as well. They've got quite a nice lineup, including people who have got careers that go back to the last time Aston Martin appeared in the prototype field. I would say that their main thing is just getting as much mileage for their 6 drivers across their 2 cars as possible. Maybe setting some headline-stealing times at some point or another, but as long as you don't have images of the Valkyrie on the back of a flatbed truck all too often, that will be a successful test for them. I think Hans Team Jota will be hoping to be at the top of the timesheets, though. I think they were last year anyways, but that's going to be their target. They are now officially a works team. And whilst the Caddy isn't necessarily the best fit for something like Losail, I would say tracks like Spa, where Jota won last year, and Le Mans are probably the better Caddy tracks. Oh, and also Fuji. I would say that Losail, with its medium speed corners and a lot of reliance on aerodynamic grip, lends itself more to the likes of the Porsche, or the Ferrari, or the Toyota. Maybe even the BMW. Though I'm also saying that because I somehow didn't mention BMW. That's the only hypercar that I haven't mentioned so far this video. But anyway, those are my thoughts and feelings. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. If you have any questions about it as well, please do feel free to leave them in the comment section, because I might do something that is a bit of an explainer for these different series. I've got preseason predictions coming out sometime next week ahead of the 1812, and I'll be doing a preview early next week as well. Thank you so much for watching and joining, folks. Until next time, it's bye-bye for now.